Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. So, today I've got a little headline pulled up about possible Fed rate targets for their cutting cycle. So, it looks like they might try to bring things down to about 3%, and that would be extremely bullish for this bull cycle, and it's exactly what we've been waiting for. I know it seemed like, oh, when is it gonna pop off? When are we gonna see our gains? Well, it's coming. It is coming. We've been on track. We got overheated and we've pulled back, and if you stack it on to previous cycles, we are right on track. And November and December is looking very bullish in my eyes. So let's dive in and get you prepped for success. Let me swap over to the right screen so that I can share all this information with you. We've got the stock heat map pulled up. It looks like Apple's down 0.12%. We've got Nvidia down 0.3%. It looks like David is here. So let me get him all pulled up and swapped over to the right screen and get my screen shared with him. All right. Let me swap that over. Good morning,
Hola.
sir.
Hola. I'm awake. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Got a small workout in today after hitting a super long one yesterday. I didn't feel like doing all the extra effort of getting a full workout in. So, a little bit sore
Awesome.
today.
Yeah. I'm awake and I'm here. Getting ready for the week ahead. We got a really big week ahead, so I know I know you were getting into it, so I'll let you go ahead and just keep on with that overview of everything, and I'll get Bitcoin ready in the background.
Awesome. Sounds good. I don't know why I think it's going to be a big week, though. There's nothing going on. It
There's
couldn't
nothing going on this
possibly
week.
couldn't possibly be anything important happening this week.
Nope.
We'll get to it in just a second, though. We've got Berkshire Hathaway down 0.72%. We've got Amazon down 0.27. We've got P&G up 0.35%. We've got ExxonMobil down 0.07%. We've got GE up 5.06%. So producer manufacturing is up big after the PMI data last week. We've got health services, United Health Services up 1%. Tesla's up 0.21%. We've got Eli Lilly up down 1.21%. And we've got Microsoft up 0.84 and Google up 1.79, while Meta is down 0.19%. So still kind of green from last week, but we do, as you mentioned earlier, we've got a slightly big week. So that could change very, very quickly with market open as people start pricing in a rate cut and that sell off that might happen off of it. So on the crypto side of things, we've got Bitcoin down 0.78%. We've got Ethereum down 0.58%. We've got BNB down 1.13%. We do have Solana up at 0.4% and Tron up 0.13%. We've got Dogecoin down 0.87. Toncoin is down 0.54 and Cardano is down 1.42. So kind of a red morning so far, which I know you talked about that yesterday, and we definitely were talking about that last week where we had an upside target and we were kind of looking for some downside going into this week. So on the economic data for today, we don't really have anything. We've got some bill auctions, which are non-market movers. We do have New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, which slight mover, nothing big to worry about. But getting further into the week, we do have some bigger data. So we do have retail sales month over month. That's going to be a big one for Tuesday morning at 7:30 my time, so 8:30 right before market open. We do have later in that day, we've got business inventories month over month, Fed Logan speech, which is just one of the other Fed chairs. We do have balance of trade for Japan, which will be another big one. That's going to be, it looks like 1850 my time. So that's going to be at right after market open or market close, US time. So 20 minutes after. I don't know why they chose 50 for a data drop, but that's very interesting. We've got inflation year over year coming Wednesday for the United Kingdom, and core inflation year over year and inflation month over month. Those are going to be some pretty big movers for that European market, and we'll probably see a little effect on the crypto side of things as it's coming in right before we get our rate decision coming on Thursday. So that's going to be here Thursday at 1 o'clock my time. So looking like noon Eastern time. Let me...
No. It's
What?
2.
It's 2?
2 Eastern. If it's
Oh.
1 our time, it's 2 Eastern.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This will be the first one in a while, first FOMC in a while where the actual rate decision will move the market, and then Powell will move it even more.
Oh, yeah. Most
So
definitely.
this is a week where I think we kind of chill out, sit back, and probably if you're not very experienced trader, probably just not trade at all until maybe like Thursday, because we're likely to see some volatility Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and going into the Fed, going into the FOMC, and one of the best things that you can do is just kind of sit back and let everything play out, let the volatility play out, let the dust settle, let things become a little clearer before you make any kind of big decisions for your portfolio or for any trades or anything like that. The name of the game is protecting your capital and trading during highly volatile times when you don't have a plan can be very disastrous. So just sometimes it's best to sometimes not taking a trade is a trade. It is a position. No position is a position. So it's just kind of like wait and see what happens. Just be patient. You don't have to trade every day, guys. You don't have to trade every day. Just the
But
more probable ones trade.
yeah, yep. I know last time we got a super heavy data week. Even me with some experience, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit this one out because it's extra volatile, and I don't want to play the game while I'm at work. You'd be in a
Yeah,
short. You'd be in a
especially if you
short
can't
and
sit
up,
there and
and then it
yep.
just like reverse
Especially
on you.
especially if you can't watch the charts.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not a good time to trade. Best to just kind of sit it out, let the dust settle, let Jay Powell say what he's gonna say, and you know, like I said, might not even trade until Thursday. I might not trade until Thursday,
oh.
especially since we're already breaking down sooner than I thought we would. So,
Well, I've been in a short since yesterday, so.
aha. I had a short and then I closed it, and I was like, I don't really like it. And then, of course, it went in my direction. I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's the weekend. I don't try not to trade on the weekend. So,
I mean, I try not to as well, but I saw it and I had to take it, and it's doing okay.
for now,
Yeah, for now. I
we'll
am
see. It's a
definitely
very volatile week.
yep, I'm prepared for it to go either way. You know, most I'll lose is like $10, and that's okay with me.
As long as you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got the heat map pulled up, the liquidation heat map. We've got some
Hmm.
liquidity sitting below us at 58.1. We've got about $9.64 million sitting below us. So, would be a nice liquidity grab for the day. We've got the fear and greed pulled up. We're sitting on neutral on the stock side, which was to be expected as we ticked back up and people were preparing for the Fed rate decision this week. So could see that tick back down a little bit as people sell off a little bit in preparation of the sell-off that might come on Thursday's rate decision. Because, the markets aren't as sure about this Fed rate decision
Wednesday.
as, Wednesdays? No, as they would like to be. There's been a mixed bag of data. Me personally, I think it's going to be a 25 basis point, but not everyone agrees with that. And I know we've heard on this channel very differing opinions. So it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the chat real quick. Mikey Canuck, we got Buck, we got Rokinos, and then Darren does things. What's up, my guy? He says traders are negating Friday's BOJ Bank of Japan rate decision too. This whole week is gonna be an S show.
Yep.
Bank of Japan has a rate decision on Friday, so that's interesting as well because that's that whole Japan carry trade, and if they do decide to raise rates at the same week that we cut rates, well, then this thing just might play out just how I expect it to.
Yeah. And I mean, that is definitely something we talked about last week, where is the Bank of Japan going to cause a mini recession? Because they are eyeing at minimum a 25 basis point hike. But their target by next year, early next year, like early beginning Q2, is 1%. So could see a 50 basis point hike.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Ah, hey,
I
could be
think I think
nasty.
I think they're just trying to use scare tactics. I don't know.
Yeah, scare their money back into their economy, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Good morning, all set. I'll see you too. Thank you for being here. I also want to say last week I beat up Kelly Kellum in the fantasy football league. Everybody knows Kelly, I think.
Yep.
Um, yep. And this week I beat up the Biomex, Mr. Tony. Uh, so actually I just squeaked it by on Tony in last night's game. It was good stuff. But shout out to those guys and the rest of the blockchain basement league. Trade flies in there too. I don't know if Tradefly won or not, but Tradefly has got a heck of a team. But I'm 2-0, so
Congratulations on that.
2-0, kicking people's butts. Not really, but I'm winning. That's all that matters.
You got that Bitcoin chart pulled up for the peoples before we hop into that article, or do you want me to go into the
I've
article
been waiting
first?
on you to say something my entire life.
Well, here it is. Let me toss that over to your screen.
So yeah, just looking over here at the Bitcoin price chart, we were getting this uptrend, but now we're fighting the uptrend. If we don't get a push up here, then I would just be looking for a breakdown and a move back up to this 50% line at 59,500. That's probably where I would enter short, and I would just be writing it down for the rest of the week, is what I would expect, because price is looking kind of weak, and that is what is, yeah, it's looking kind of weak. That's just how it is. Oscillators, we've got our oscillators below our zero lines. We've put in reversal signals. We've got bearish divergence here. And yeah, just price is looking kind of weak. Let me go ahead and look over here. Our money flow is in the green, but our true 7 is sitting below the zero line. Volume metric is green. So we're kind of getting a little bit of mixed signals. So that is why I would think that we would see some type of pull back, but we'll just have to wait and see. So problem with being on this early at the beginning of the week is we don't really have too much here to go off of to say, all right, I think this is where we're going to go. It's much easier to kind of see where we'll go for the week after Monday, because Monday kind of sets you up for the rest of the week. But for now, so right now, it's just kind of wait and see, mixed signals for now. And by the time, Piper Academy or the morning market report comes on, there'll probably be something clear. Now, we do have a 4-hour fair value gap here. If I drop down to the 15-minute, I just want to see that. There we go. So there's that 4-hour fair value gap. And then what I'll do with these is I'll go from the 4-hour, drop it down to the 15-minute. And that 4-hour, the fair value gap is also right there at that 0.5. So I will be looking for price to come up into that fair value gap and hit that 0.5. And then from there, I will wait and see if we get a rejection back and a close below this midpoint of that fair value gap. If we do, that tells me that tells me we're pretty bearish, and I will probably go ahead and throw up a short, putting my stop loss above these highs. But I just noticed that we do have some equal highs right here. And equal highs love to be taken out. So that's something to be cautious of. Like I said, it's a messy kind of week. So I don't know if I would be taking any trades just yet, because this thing could pop up here. We do have, so these equal highs over here. We do have, a swing high over here. And it's just kind of, and it looks like we've already kind of completed maybe an ABC. So I don't know. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough at the moment. I need more price action. I need to see, and I need something to happen during the New York kill zone. So if I in that New York kill zone, let me just go ahead and bring it up here. You won't be able to see it just yet. So if I go to yesterday, that the kill zone, aka the New York kill zone, is between 7 a.m. and this is Eastern time between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. So I look for a run on liquidity during that time frame. So we'll just have to see what happens during that time. We just started the London kill zone. Obviously, it is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will be looking for a run on liquidity, one on either side of this, and looking for a rejection. And then I will probably, because I am a DGen, so and I do like to trade. If it is clear and it is obvious, I will take a trade, but it's still kind of, it's not a week where I would say 90% of people should not be trading. They should just be sitting back and waiting. And I'm probably one of those people. So I'm not going to take anything that is not super clear. It is kind of looking a little messy to me, so I'm probably not going to take a trade. To be perfectly honest, it kind of just looks too messy to me at the moment. If I see something later in the day, hop over into Piper Academy Discord, and I will post something in there. But if not, then hey, I'll just sit back. But we've got some levels to watch this week. We got our previous quarter low sitting here at 56.5, and then our midpoint, current yearly midpoint at 56.156. If I go ahead and just zoom out real quick, this has been my forecast for the past week and a half, and it just has not been. We've started to falter already here. Now I could see a scenario where we come up and we still get this little consolidation range. But this is what I thought was going to happen over the weekend, and that's basically what we got over the weekend. So now I'm just kind of looking to see if we get this push up and then push down, because this is all just based off of structure, and I just want to see if price does what I think it's going to do as from a structural standpoint. We did have this move up, another move up. So let's see. Let's just move this. Okay, I'll have to do this at another time. But you can kind of see it right here. If I move this around, we can see I've got come on. Get this move up and then move this down. And you got this move up, and then you got your consolidation sideways. We've got to push down to sweep the lows, and then I'll look for the sweep to the highs. So, and then we'll see if we can break that trend line with some conviction, with some strength, and then we'll see about the retest, pull back to enter the trade, and then to ride it to the downside. So, yeah, the good news is that if we break down from here, I don't think we'll go as low as the forecast was showing, as I was showing in the forecast. So, but yeah, we'll just kind of have to wait and see, and yeah, be patient, 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 patient. Word of the week is patience. Back to you, BC.
All right. Well, I've got an article pulled up, so let me swap over to that screen. We've got the Fed is likely to cut interest rates until next summer as the threat of inflation fades.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep. I told you I got that all fixed up so that I can actually hear you now, and so can the peoples.
I was just making sure.
Yep. The Fed is worried about a weaker U.S. job markets and no longer sees inflation as a big threat. The Federal Reserve is set to reduce U.S. interest rates next week in response to waning inflation. But it will be just the first in a series of rapid-fire cuts that could boost the economy and act as an insurance policy against recession. The size of the first cut is still an open question ahead of the central bank's pivotal meeting on September 17th through 18th. A small majority of investors are betting on a modest quarter percentage cut instead of the larger half-point reduction, according to the CME FedWatch. Whatever the outcome, the size of the first rate cut won't matter much most economists say. The more important questions are where the Fed ends up and how long it takes to get there. Wall Street DGIA SPX has largely coalesced around the idea that the Fed will reduce its benchmark short-term rate from a 24-year high of 5.25 to 5.5% to as low as 3% by next July. Whatever the outcome, the size of the first rate cut won't matter much, economists say. The questions are where the Fed ends up and how long it takes to get there. Some analysts, such as Luke Tilley, chief economist at Wilmington Trust, a former Fed official, see the central bank cutting even more steeply next year to as low as 2.5%. This will be extremely bullish for crypto, as people will get extremely risk off, especially if it is by July of 2025 that we are trying to come down to that. That's a lot of new money and people's dry powder that has been sitting on the side, like in one of the stocks I go over, Berkshire Hathaway, every morning. They've got a lot of dry powder on the side that they've just been waiting to invest because of this situation right here. So it is something to keep your eye on for this week, as we will hear from Fed Chair Powell about kind of where the targets might end up and how quickly they decide that they're going to be cutting rates. So that's kind of all for that article. There's some more spiel, but it's a super long article, and you got the gist of it from that. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on it.
What's the gist?
The targets are likely
Don't forget to bring me up.
Yeah, the targets are likely around 2.5% to 3% by either end of Q2 or mid Q3. So that the cutting period
3%. All right. So,
the cutting period could be pretty intense, and that's where I know they've said 1% reduction target by the end of this year. So that could be a big one too, where we start seeing the boost in our assets.
you need to bring my screen up.
I can definitely bring that screen up for you.
The market is now betting that we are more likely to get a 50 bips rate cut this week. 59% chance of getting a 50 bip rate cut to 41% for a 25 points. So it looks like they're expecting a little more on the heavy side, on the 50. And if we do 1% by the end of the year, then I mean we're gonna have to do a 50 and then maybe two 25s, or maybe we start off with a 25 and then a 50 and then a 25. I don't know. They could do it any kind of ways. But I just wanted to come over here and look at this because if they do 3% by Q2, so we'll just say June, I mean 25 for each of these. I don't think, 25 for each of these will get us there. So 25, 50, 75, 1. Maybe it won't, actually. Now that I'm doing my math in my head, it's 50 that would get us there for each cut. Maybe a couple of 25s and then and then 4 50s, 5 50s. Yeah. So they're looking to be cutting pretty heavily then, it looks like to me, BC. Is that what I'm gathering from this?
Yes, and that's why I believe it's extremely bullish for Bitcoin. You'll see
Mm.
some of it trickle over into your altcoins, but for the most part, I'm looking at BTC dominance reclaiming some highs, maybe breaking that point that we've had our eye on. I can pull it up, but let's see. Do you got Bitcoin dominance pulled up?
I can in 0.23 seconds. There we go.
There we go. So reclaiming some highs that we haven't been to in quite a while. You know, we've talked about those levels up there where you've got marked out in red, and we could see a break above that as people want their money in the more secure risk on asset. And that's where we haven't been to those levels since last run. And that would be
Yeah, it's been
it's been a while. And that's
the
the
last time we
sign.
were at 60%. The last time we were at 60% dominance was in March of 2021, April of 2021, which was when? Which was the first peak for Bitcoin. And then it broke down from there, and then altcoins went absolutely ham.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for Bitcoin to get back up to that 60%, and I think it's going to get there because, as you were just saying, it is the flight to safety. It is with that and stable coins, a little more in the stable coins for this cycle because they are a thing now. So stable coins, back in the day when there were no stable coins, the safety trade was Bitcoin. Everybody just went into Bitcoin. When they got out of their alts, they got into Bitcoin. But now they have the option to get into stable coins. So now you see, a lot of people parking their capital in the stable coins and just waiting for a big moment, which is why Bitcoin has taken its time to get up here to that 60% level or dominance. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it gets there. I think it's going to. But once it does, we just look for the rejection because that means it's time for alt season. So we'll see. But I don't know about this. So you think that the rate cuts are going to be bullish, yet history says rate cuts are bearish. Did you watch my show yesterday?
Yes, I did. But it also, there's other factors into it this time where you're talking about if you go to the 80s where things were in a lot worse position, or
We're not in the 80s.
I know, or you go to the 90s though where there was rate cuts and you kind of see stimulation of things where that was more of a softer landing, or you go to the 2010s where you also were trying to shoot for a softer landing and things like that. Yes, initially is going to be a little bearish, but over the long term and the cutting cycle will be extremely bullish. And that's just my thoughts on it. This is a new test for Bitcoin as well, where we haven't really seen this. The last real time that we've been in positions like this were in its founding, where we were coming out of a big economic time of struggle. And so that's what caused its founding. And so we don't really know because there wasn't mass adoption back then. This will be Bitcoin's true test. Is it what it was supposed to be on its white paper, where it is a mechanism for you to have your money in that is not going to be demolished by these other economic factors and will continue to grow over time? Or is it just another thing that gets screwed by crappy economic policy?
Well, I got the rate cuts in gold pulled up, and uh, if the good old Bitcoin is going to be, uh, or yeah, is going to be digital gold, then we got to look at gold a little bit, because it has kind of a really not a fixed supply, but it's a limited supply. Its stock to flow is very low, so and then when we had the hyperinflation in the 80s and we got the rate cut, it was super bearish for gold for a very long time. Basically almost until they stopped cutting rates. But I mean, it was very late in the hiking cycle, some decade almost into it, like a decade long bear market. Now that is gold, so it's a little different. It's a little different. And so if I pull up, a Dow Jones for the 80s, we can see that it's the exact opposite. But that's the point, is that that's stocks compared to gold, something that's supposed to be risk on, compared to something that's supposed to be like kind of risk off. But we see the Dow Jones went absolutely crazy when we got those rate cuts in the 80s. But initially, when we first got the cuts, it was super bearish for like a year. And then it started getting bullish after that. And that tends to be the case for all of these. Is they're initially pretty bullish or bearish rather, until the rate cuts either cease or they kind of slow down, something, until we get some kind of certainty back in the market that we know what the Fed is going to do. That is typically the key, or that is the key really, is what is the Fed going to do? That's what the market wants to know. What is the Fed going to do? And that's what helps everybody sleep better at night, is knowing what the Fed is going to do, and that's what helps them make their decisions. Sometimes when you get the rate cut, it is initially bullish for a few weeks, and then it rolls over, and then once the rate cut cycle is done, then we see a reversal and a push out. This is the great financial crisis, which was nothing but a double tap back into support, really. And then it just went off and away from there. Coming over to today, we got the breakout, and maybe that is what we get over here, is a double tap back onto resistance to turn it into support. But we'll see. This is kind of what I'm looking for out for the Dow Jones. And if you look at history and you pull up, and I go ahead and I click compare and I add Bitcoin to the chart, and we just go through this whole thing, I could show you where they both peak around the same time, bottom around the same times. And yeah, Bitcoin is very much reliant on the stock market. One of the biggest things is the Russell 2000, because the Russell 2000 is the low or small caps inside the stock market, 2000 small cap companies. So when this expands, Bitcoin tends to expand as well. So we need to see that breadth open up in the market for the Russell 2000 and the risk on assets, and will help fuel us into our rally and into new all-time highs, is expansion within the stock market. So without that, I don't think Bitcoin goes. So let's just hope that the Russell can get moving. But yeah, we got 5 minutes.
Well, I can pull up the Dixie. I was looking at that this morning. Let me swap over. So we do have this low over here sitting at 99.5. I pulled a line from it, as we have broken down from this 101 to 102 range that we've been playing in. I would look at coming a little lower. You see a lot of curvature on your MACD. You see a lot of curvature on the prime oscillator. You do have this divergence that played out and didn't show a whole lot of strength for reclaiming this level up here at 102. It was the 618. So not being able to reclaim that is a very, very bearish sign on the dollar, as well as seeing other currencies that have been cutting rates already. So we had the European Union cut rates by 25 basis points, and you also have Japan looking at hiking at the end of the week. So this will be another factor in the breakdown of the Dixie. If we do get down here, I would look at seeing a little bounce off, depending on how big the rate cut is that we get. So if it is 50 basis points, I would look at us losing that level, because that is very weakening for the dollar against other currencies initially, until we find our footing. It's just going to be, where do we find our footing? Because we haven't been down here since 2022. So it's been a while. And we do have some strong consolidation in this area. So just something to keep your eye on. That is the 97 to 98 range. So that would be a point for to find our footing and maybe kind of push back up. This is going to be over a longer period of time though, so keep that in mind. That could be a little bit bullish for your risk on assets. Let me toss that back over to the dual screen, because we got 2 minutes to wrap this up.
We got about a minute, but yeah. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out real quick to Ballin' Wallin in the chat. Hey, he says, hey guys. And he also says, it's going to be everyone's piggy bank to pay margin calls. When you look at the rate cuts, this is Buck. When you look at the rate cuts during a recession, numbers are overwhelming. Bearish, then recovery. Yep. And then I saw something else in here. I thought I did anyway. No, but good morning, Melissa. One love and maybe a Band-Aid. Yeah, so good. Oh yeah. So you're saying, Buck says, so you're saying it's about time to remortgage the house and buy Bitcoin?
I am
No.
not saying any of that. I'm not trying
No.
to get in trouble.
Not financial advice, but honestly, you should put all of your net worth into Bitcoin. No, don't do that.
You're telling me I did it wrong by doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, but thanks for joining us, guys. Yeah, a little short and sweet, but yeah, this week is going to be very crazy. So, might be best to just sit back and watch the show instead of trying to do anything, right?
Yeah, just sit back and watch Piper Academy, and we will give you all of the information that you need.
Yep, to be successful for the week ahead. So, yeah, my thing is, it's obviously, for me, it's a risk on type of environment. So I'm just not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. I've been thinking about it so far this morning. I don't think I'm going to take a trade this week unless, like I said earlier, I mean, it's got to be super clear, but I don't know. Maybe I'll throw it. Maybe I'll open a low leverage. It'll have to be low leverage because of volatility. Because since the volatility is expected to be pretty high this week, I would have low leverage if I am leverage trading. So, yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Well, this degen is definitely going to be trading something.
You're already in a trade. So, yeah, if you do trade, don't bet the farm on anything. Is all I'm getting. Just be smart about it. Okay, just be careful. Be kind, rewind, and use a stop loss. There you go. That's it.
Yep. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you are not subscribed. Join the Piper Academy later today at 9:30 Eastern Time. That's going to be
Morning
the
market report.
Yep, with Piper and OC Guy. And tonight we have the return of the Crypto Nightcap Show with TradeFly and FD White. Make sure to tune into that at 8:30 Eastern Time. It's going to be a great show. You know, we got a heavy hitter of a week, so all of these shows are going to touch on that, and we will get lots of alpha across the whole day. Make sure to check out the links in the description as well. We've got some deals for you. You know, we do what we can. Other than that, everyone trade safe this week because it's going to be a very volatile, choppy week. Got
Indeed.
anything else for the people?
That's it, brother.
All right.
I'm
Well,
gonna roll out.
everyone wake up.
It's gonna be a good day.